Welcome back to Footnotes and Folly, and to Richard Roman III. I am Pemberton. This is part 3, the cold heart of the play. With Hastings' head off, Richard and Buckingham win over the Lord Mayor and the citizens with a piece of pure theatre. Richard appearing aloft between two bishops, prayer book in hand, pretending he wants no crown and must be begged to take it. Begged he is, crowned he is. And no sooner is the gold on his head than the new king wants the one thing that can never be safe while it lives, the two boys in the tower. He finds his man in Tyrrel, the princes are smothered in their sleep, and the realm fills with weeping women, the old queen, the new widow, the bereaved mother cursing the monster they helped to make. Let us go on.
Richard and Buckingham enter on the tower walls, wearing rusty armor and looking wonderfully grim and disordered. Come, cousin, can you tremble and change color, choke off your breath halfway through a word, then start again and stop again, as if you were distracted and mad with terror? Yes, I can imitate the deepest tragic actor. Speak, glance behind me, peer on every side, tremble and start at the movement of a straw, all while suggesting dark suspicion. Ghastly looks are ready for me, just like forced smiles. Both know their duties and are always prepared to serve my schemes. But tell me, has Catesby gone? He has, and look, he is bringing the mayor with him. The Lord Mayor and Catesby enter. Lord Mayor. Watch the drawbridge there. Listen the drum. Lord Mayor, the reason we sent for you. Catesby, look over the walls. Look back. Defend yourself, enemies are here. May God and our innocence defend and guard us. Lovell and Ratcliffe enter, carrying Hastings' head. Be calm, they are friends Ratcliffe and Lovell. Here is the head of that base traitor, the dangerous and unsuspected Hastings. I love the man so dearly that I must weep. I took him for the plainest, most harmless Christian creature breathing on the earth. I made him my book, in which my soul recorded the history of all her secret thoughts. He smeared his vice so smoothly with a show of virtue that, apart from his obvious open fault, I mean his dealings with Shore's wife, he lived beyond every stain of suspicion. Yes, he was the most secretly sheltered traitor who ever lived. Could you imagine, or almost believe, if not for God's great preservation that lets us live to tell it, that this subtle traitor plotted today in the council house to murder me and my good Lord of Gloucester? Had he done so? What, do you think we are Turks or infidels? Do you think we would go against the form of law and rush so suddenly to the villain's death, unless the extreme danger of the case, the peace of England, and the safety of our own persons forced us to this execution? Then may good fortune be yours. He deserved his death, and both your good graces have acted well to warn false traitors away from similar attempts. I never expected anything better from him after he once fell in with Mistress Shore. Still, we had not decided that he should die until your lordship came to see his end. Now the loving haste of these friends of ours, somewhat against our intentions, has prevented that. My lord, we wanted you to hear the traitor speak and fearfully confess the manner and purpose of his treasons, so that you could properly report the same to the citizens, who might otherwise misunderstand our action toward him and mourn his death. But my good lord, your grace's word will serve as well as if I had seen and heard him speak. Do not doubt, right noble princes both, that I will acquaint our dutiful citizens with all your just proceedings in this case. And for that purpose we wished your lordship here, to avoid the judgments of the fault-finding world. But since you came too late for what we intended, at least bear witness to what you hear we did intend. And so, my good Lord Mayor, farewell. The Lord Mayor exits. Go after him, cousin Buckingham, after him. The mayor is hurrying toward Guildhall with all speed. There, when the time gives you the best advantage, suggest that Edward's children are illegitimate. Tell them how Edward put a citizen to death only for saying he would make his son heir to the crown, when the man truly meant his own house, which was called the Crown because of its sign. Also press hard on Edward's hateful lechery and his beastly appetite for changing lusts, which reached to their servants, daughters, and wives, wherever his raging eye or savage heart lusted without restraint to seize prey. No, if need requires, come this close to my own person. Tell them that when my mother was pregnant with that insatiable Edward, noble York, my princely father, was then at war in France, and by an accurate count of the time, he found the child could not have been begotten by him. That was clear enough in Edward's features, since he was nothing like the noble Duke my father. Yet touch on this sparingly, as if from far off, because, my lord, you know my mother is still alive. Do not doubt it, my lord. I will play the orator as if the golden fee I plead for were for myself. And so, my lord, farewell. If you succeed, bring them to Baynard's castle, where you will find me well accompanied by reverend fathers and learned bishops. I go, and toward 3 or 4 o'clock expect the news that Guildhall provides. Buckingham exits. Go Lovell with all speed to Dr. Shaw. Ratcliffe, you go to Friar Pinker. Tell them both to meet me within this hour at Baynard's castle. Ratcliffe and Lovell exit. Now I will go make private arrangements to draw the children of Clarence out of sight, and to order that no one at any time may have access to the princes. Richard exits. A scrivener enters in a London street. Here is the indictment of the good Lord Hastings, written out fairly in a formal hand, so it may be read aloud today in Paul's. And notice how well the sequence of events fits together. I spent 11 hours writing it out, after Catesby sent it to me last night. The original draft took just as long to prepare. And yet within these last 5 hours Hastings was alive, unaccused, unexamined, free, and at liberty. What a fine world this is meanwhile! Who is so stupid that he cannot see this obvious trick? Yet who is so bold that he says he sees it? The world is bad, and all will come to ruin when such wicked dealing must be seen only in thought. The scrivener exits. Richard and Buckingham enter from different doors. Well, well, what do the citizens say? By the Holy Mother of our Lord, the citizens are silent. They do not say a word. Did you speak about Edward's children being illegitimate? I did. I spoke of his promised marriage to Lady Lucy, and of his marriage contract made by proxy in France, of the greedy, never satisfied appetite of his desire, and of his forcing himself on the wives of the city, of his tyranny over petty matters, of his own illegitimacy, since he was conceived when your father was then in France, and since he did not resemble the Duke. Along with this, I pointed out your features, as the true image of your father, both in your shape and in the nobility of your mind. I laid out all your victories in Scotland, your discipline in war, your wisdom in peace, your generosity, your virtue, and your fair humility. In fact, I left nothing useful to your purpose untouched or only lightly handled in my speech. And when my oration drew toward its end, I told those who loved their country's good to cry, God save Richard, England's royal king. And did they do it? No. So God help me, they did not speak a word, but like dumb statues or breathing stones, stared at one another and looked deathly pale. When I saw that, I rebuked them, and asked the mayor what this deliberate silence meant. His answer was that the people were not used to being spoken to except by the recorder. Then the recorder was urged to tell my story again. Thus has the Duke concluded. But he said nothing on his own authority. When he had finished, some followers of my own, at the lower end of the hall, threw up their caps, and some 10 voices cried, God save King Richard. And so I took advantage of those few. Thanks, kind citizens and friends, I said. This general applause and cheerful shout proves your wisdom and your love for Richard. And at that very point I broke off and came away. What were they, tongueless blocks? Would they not speak? Will the mayor and his fellow officials not come here then? The mayor is close at hand. Put on an air of fear. Do not allow yourself to be spoken with except after urgent pleading. And be sure to have a prayer book in your hand, and stand between 2 churchmen, my good lord. On that ground I will build a holy argument. And do not be easily won over by our requests. Play the maiden's part. Keep answering no and then accept. I will go. If you plead as well for them as I can say no for myself to you, there is no doubt we will bring it to a happy end. Go up to the leads. The Lord Mayor is knocking. Richard exits. The Lord Mayor and citizens enter. Welcome, my lord. I am waiting here in attendance. I think the Duke will not be spoken with. Catesby enters. Now, Catesby, what does your lord say to my request? He asks your grace, my noble lord, to visit him tomorrow or the next day. He is inside with 2 most reverend fathers, wholly devoted to godly meditation, and in no worldly business would he be moved to draw himself away from his holy exercise. Return, good Catesby, to the gracious Duke. Tell him that I myself, the mayor, and the aldermen, with deep plans and matters of great importance, concerning nothing less than the common good of us all, have come to confer with his grace. I will tell him that at once. Catesby exits. Ah, my lord, this prince is not an Edward. He is not lounging on a loose lover's bed, but kneeling in meditation, not playing with a pair of courtesans, but meditating with 2 profound divines, not sleeping to feed his idle body, but praying to enrich his watchful soul. Happy England would be, if this virtuous prince would take upon his grace the sovereignty of it. But I fear we will not win him to it. Indeed, God forbid his grace should refuse us. I fear he will. Here comes Catesby again. Catesby enters. Now, Catesby, what does his grace say? He wonders why you have gathered such crowds of citizens to come to him, when his grace had no warning of it beforehand. He fears, my lord, that you mean him no good. I am sorry my noble cousin should suspect that I mean him no good. By heaven, we come to him in perfect love. Go back once more and tell his grace so. Catesby exits. When holy and devout religious men are at their prayers, it is hard to draw them away from them, so sweet is zealous contemplation. Richard appears above between 2 bishops. Catesby re-enters. Look where his grace stands between 2 clergymen. 2 supports of virtue for a Christian prince, to keep him from falling into vanity, and see, a book of prayer in his hand, true ornaments by which to know a holy man. Famous Plantagenet, most gracious prince, lend a favorable ear to our requests, and pardon us for interrupting your devotion and your true Christian zeal. My lord, there is no need for such an apology. I beg your grace to pardon me, because, being earnest in the service of my God, I delayed the visit of my friends. But leaving that aside, what is your grace's pleasure? Only that, I hope, which pleases God above and all good men of this ungoverned island. I suspect I have committed some offense that appears disgraceful in the city's eyes, and that you have come to rebuke my ignorance. You have, my lord, and we wish it might please your grace, at our entreaties, to amend your fault. Otherwise, why do I breathe in a Christian land? Then know this, your fault is that you give up the highest seat, the majestic throne, the sceptred office of your ancestors, your fortune's rank and the right due to your birth, the hereditary glory of your royal house, to the corruption of a stained bloodline. While, in the mildness of your sleepy thoughts, which we now wake for our country's good, this noble island lacks its proper limbs. Its face is disfigured with scars of disgrace. Its royal stock is grafted with base plants, and is almost pushed into the swallowing gulf of dark forgetfulness and deep oblivion. To cure this, we earnestly beg your gracious self to take upon yourself the charge and kingly government of this your land. Not as protector, steward, substitute, or lowly agent for another person's gain, but as yours by succession, from blood to blood, your birthright, your empire, your own. For this, together with the citizens, your most worshipful and loving friends, and by their strong urging, I have come in this just cause to move your grace. I cannot tell whether leaving in silence or speaking bitterly in rebuke of you better fits my rank or your condition. If I do not answer, you might perhaps think that tongue-tied ambition, by making no reply, consented to bear the golden yoke of sovereignty, which you foolishly would place upon me here. If I rebuke you for this request of yours, so seasoned as it is with your faithful love for me, then, on the other side, I have checked my friends. Therefore, to speak and avoid the first danger, and then, in speaking, not to incur the last, I answer you decisively in this way. Your love deserves my thanks, but my undeserving worth shrinks from your high request. First, if every obstacle were cut away, and my path to the crown were as smooth as the ripe income and dew of birth, still my poverty of spirit is so great, and my defects so mighty and so many, that I would rather hide myself from my greatness, being a little ship unfit to endure a mighty sea, than in my greatness desire to be hidden, smothered in the vapor of my own glory. But God be thanked, there is no need of me, and I would need much help from you if there were need. The royal tree has left us royal fruit, which, ripened by the quiet passing hours of time, will well become the seat of majesty, and will no doubt make us happy by his reign. On him I place what you would place on me, the right and fortune of his happy stars. God forbid that I should wrench it from him. My lord, this shows conscience in your grace, but those considerations are fine drawn and trivial when all circumstances are well considered. You say that Edward is your brother's son. So do we, but not by Edward's wife. For first he was contracted to Lady Lucy, and your mother lives as witness to his vow, and afterward he was betrothed by substitute to Bona, sister to the King of France. Having cast both of these aside, a poor petitioner, a mother worn mad with care for many sons, a fading beauty and distressed widow, even in the afternoon of her best days, became the prize and purchase of his wanton eye. She seduced the height and dignity of his rank down into base decline and hateful bigamy. By her, in his unlawful bed, he fathered this Edward, whom our manners call the prince. I could press the charge more bitterly, except that, out of reverence for some who are alive, I put a careful limit on my tongue. Then, good my lord, take to your royal self this offered benefit of dignity, if not to bless us, and the land with it, that at least to draw your noble ancestry out of the corruption of abusive times and into a true hereditary course. Do, good my lord. Your citizens beg you. Do not refuse, mighty lord, this offered love. Oh, make them joyful. Grant their lawful request. Alas, why would you heap these cares on me? I am unfit for state and majesty. I beg you, do not take it badly. I cannot, and I will not yield to you. If you refuse it because, in love and zeal, you are reluctant to depose the child, your brother's son, as indeed we know your tenderness of heart and your gentle, kind, womanish pity, which we have observed in you toward your kindred, and equally, in truth, toward all ranks of people, then still know this, whether you accept our suit or not, your brother's son shall never reign as our king. Instead, we will plant some other man upon the throne, to the disgrace and downfall of your house. And with this decision we leave you here. Come, citizens, by God's wounds, I will plead no more. Buckingham, the mayor, and the citizens begin to leave. Call him back, sweet prince, accept their request. If you deny them, all the land will suffer for it. Will you force me into a world of cares? Call them back. I am not made of stone, but can be moved by your kind entreaties, though it is against my conscience and my soul. Buckingham and the rest return. Cousin of Buckingham, and wise, serious men, since you will fasten fortune on my back, to make me bear her burden whether I will or not, I must have patience to endure the load. But if black scandal or foul-faced reproach follows from what you force upon me, your sheer compulsion shall clear me from all the impure blots and stains of it. For God knows, and you may partly see, how far I am from desiring this. God bless your grace. We see it and will say it. In saying so, you will only say the truth. Then I greet you with this royal title. Long live King Richard, England's worthy king. Amen. May it please you to be crowned tomorrow? Whenever you please, since you will have it so. Tomorrow, then, we will attend your grace, and so most joyfully we take our leave. Come, let us return to our holy work. Farewell, my cousin. Farewell, gentle friends. They all exit. Queen Elizabeth, the Duchess, and Dorset enter from one side. Anne enters from another side, leading Clarence's young daughter by the hand. Who is this meeting us here? My niece Plantagenet, led by her kind aunt of Gloucester? I would swear she is going to the tower out of pure love, to greet the young prince. Daughter, I am glad to meet you. May God give both your graces a happy and joyful day. And the same to you, good sister. Where are you going? No farther than the tower, and I suppose, for the same devoted purpose as yourselves, to congratulate the gentle princes there. Kind sister, thank you. We will go in together. Rakenbury enters. And just in time, here comes the lieutenant. Master Lieutenant, with your permission, how are the prince and my young son of York? Very well, dear madam. But with your patience, I cannot allow you to visit them. The king has strictly ordered otherwise. The king? Who is that? I mean the Lord Protector. May the Lord protect him from that royal title. Has he put barriers between their love and me? I am their mother. Who can keep me from them? I am their father's mother. I will see them. I am their aunt by law, and in love their mother. Then take me to see them. I will bear the blame, and at my own risk take your office from you. No, madam, no. I cannot leave it that way. I am bound by oath, so please pardon me. Rakenbury exits. Stanley enters. Ladies, only meet me 1 hour from now, and I will greet your Grace of York as mother and honoured witness of 2 fair queens. Come, madam, you must go at once to Westminster to be crowned Richard's royal queen. Ah, cut my laces open, so my trapped heart may have room to beat, or else I will faint from this death-dealing news. Spiteful tidings. Oh, hateful news. Take heart, mother. How is your grace? Oh, Dorset, do not speak to me. Go, get away. Death and destruction follow close behind you. Your mother's name brings bad fortune to her children. If you want to outrun death, go, cross the seas and live with Richmond beyond the reach of hell. Go, hurry, hurry from this slaughterhouse, before you add to the number of the dead and make me die enslaved by Margaret's curse. No mother, no wife, and no longer counted England's queen. Madam, your advice is full of wise concern. Make the quickest use of every hour. I will send letters on your behalf to my son, so he can meet you on the way. Do not be caught too late because of foolish delay. O wind of misery, scattering evil everywhere. O my cursed womb bed of death. You have hatched a coquettress into the world, whose unavoidable glance is murderous. Come, madam, come. I was sent in great haste, and I will go with all unwillingness. Oh, I wish to God that the circle of gold which must enclose my brow were red-hot steel, burning through to my brains. Let me be anointed with deadly poison, and let me die before men can say, God save the Queen. Go, go, poor soul. I do not envy your glory. To satisfy my grief, do not wish harm on yourself. No? Why not? When the man who is now my husband came to me while I followed Henry's corpse, when the blood was scarcely washed from his hands, blood that came from my other angel husband and from that dear saint whose body I then followed weeping, oh, when I looked on Richard's face, this was my wish, be cursed for making me, so young, into so old a widow, and when you marry, let sorrow haunt your bed, and let your wife, if any woman is mad enough to be one, be made more miserable by your life than you have made me by my dear lord's death. Look now, before I can repeat that curse again, within so short a time, my woman's heart was grossly captured by his honeyed words, and I became the living subject of my own soul's curse. That curse has kept my eyes from rest until now. For never yet, not for 1 hour in his bed, have I enjoyed the golden dew of sleep. His fearful dreams have always awakened me. Besides, he hates me because of my father Warwick, and without doubt he will soon be rid of me. Poor heart, farewell. I pity your complaint. No more than with my soul I mourn for yours. Farewell, you sorrowful welcomer of glory. Farewell, poor soul, you who are taking leave of it. Go you to Richmond, and may good fortune guide you. Go you to Richard, and may good angels attend you. Go you to sanctuary, and may good thoughts possess you. I go to my grave, where peace and rest wait with me. I have seen more than 80 years of sorrow, and each hour of joy has been wrecked by a week of grief. Stay, look back with me once more toward the tower. Pity those tender children, you ancient stones, whom envy has shut within your walls, rough cradle for such pretty little ones, harsh and ragged nurse, old gloomy playfellow for tender princes, treat my babies well. So my foolish sorrows bid your stones farewell. They all exit. Trumpets sound a formal flourish. Richard enters in royal splendor with Buckingham, Catesby, Ratcliffe, Lovell, a page, and others. Everyone stand aside. Cousin of Buckingham, my gracious sovereign, give me your hand. Richard climbs onto the throne. Trumpets sound. So high as this, by your advice, and with your help, King Richard is now seated. But shall we wear these honors for only 1 day, or shall they last, and shall we rejoice in them? Let them live on, and let them last forever. Ah, Buckingham, now I test you like metal on a touchstone, to see whether you are truly current gold. Young Edward lives. Think now what I mean to say. Go on, my loving lord. Why, Buckingham, I say I would be king. Why, so you are my 3 times famous lord. Ha! Am I king? It is true, but Edward lives. True, noble prince. Oh, what a bitter result, that Edward should still live, true noble prince. Cousin, you were never used to being so slow. Shall I speak plainly? I want the bastards dead, and I want it done at once. What do you say now? Speak quickly, be brief. Your grace may do as you please. Tut tut, you are all ice, your friendship freezes. Say it, do I have your consent that they shall die? Give me a little breath, a little pause, dear lord, before I speak decisively on this. I will give you my answer very soon. Buckingham exits. The king is angry. Look, he is biting his lip. I will deal with iron-minded fools and careless boys. No one is useful to me who looks into me with thoughtful eyes. Hi, reaching Buckingham is growing cautious. Boy, my lord? Do you know anyone whom corrupting gold would tempt into a secret act of death? I know a discontented gentleman whose poor means do not match his proud spirit. Gold would be as strong as 20 orators, and without doubt would tempt him to anything. What is his name? His name, my lord, is Tyrrel. I partly know the man. Go, call him here, boy. The page exits. Deep-thinking, clever Buckingham shall no longer be so close to my counsels. Has he stood with me so long untired, and now stops to catch his breath? Well, so be it. Stanley enters. What now, Lord Stanley? What is the news? Know this, my loving lord, the Marquis Dorset, as I hear, has fled to Richmond, in the parts where Richmond is staying. Come here, Casby. Spread the rumor everywhere that Anne, my wife, is gravely sick. I will arrange for her to be kept closely confined. Find me some poor, humble gentleman, someone I can quickly marry to Clarence's daughter. The boy is foolish, and I do not fear him. Look how you stand there dreaming. I say again, put it out that Anne, my queen, is sick and likely to die. Go about it, because it matters greatly to me to stop every hope whose growth might harm me. Casby exits. I must be married to my brother's daughter, or else my kingdom stands on fragile glass. Murder her brothers, and then marry her, an uncertain way to gain security. But I am so far into blood that one sin will pull on another. Tearful pity does not live in this eye. Tyrrel enters. Is your name Tyrrel? James Tyrrel, and your most obedient subject. Are you truly? Put me to the proof, my gracious lord. Would you dare make up your mind to kill a friend of mine? If it please you. But I would rather kill 2 enemies. Then you have it. 2 deep enemies, enemies to my peace and disturbers of my sweet sleep, are the ones I want you to deal with. Tyrrel, I mean those bastards in the tower. Let me have clear access to come to them, and soon I will free you from fear of them. You sing sweet music. Listen, come here, Tyrrel. Go with this token. Rise and lend me your ear. Richard whispers to Tyrrel. There is no more to it than that. Say it is done, and I will love you and raise you up for it. I will carry it out at once. Tyrrel exits. Buckingham enters. My lord, I have considered in my mind the recent request you tried me with. Well, let that rest. Dorset has fled to Richmond. I hear the news, my lord. Stanley, he is your wife's son. Well, see to it. My lord, I claim the gift, my due by promise, for which your honor and your faith are pledged, the earldom of Hereford, and the movable goods you promised I would possess. Stanley, watch your wife. If she carries letters to Richmond, you shall answer for it. What does your highness say to my rightful request? I do remember that Henry VI prophesied Richmond would be king, when Richmond was a little, foolish boy. A king, perhaps. My lord. How is it that the prophet could not at that time have told me, since I was there, that I would kill him? My lord, your promise for the earldom. Richmond. When I was last at Exeter, the mayor, as a courtesy, showed me the castle and called it Rougemount. At that name I started, because a bard of Ireland once told me I would not live long after I saw Richmond. My lord. Yes, what time is it? I am bold enough to remind your grace of what you promised me. Well, but what time is it? On the stroke of 10. Well, let it strike. Why let it strike? Because, like a clock, Jack, you keep striking between your begging and my meditation. I am not in a giving mood today. Then tell me plainly whether you will grant it or not. You trouble me. I am not in the mood. Richard exits, followed by everyone except Buckingham. And is this how it is? Does he repay my deep service with such contempt? Did I make him king for this? Oh, let me think of Hastings, and get away to Brecknock, while my frightened head is still on my shoulders. Buckingham exits. Tyrrel enters. The tyrannical, bloody deed is done, the worst act of pitiful massacre this land has ever been guilty of. Dighton and Forrest, whom I hired to carry out this ruthless butchery, were hardened villains, bloody dogs, yet they melted with tenderness and gentle compassion, and wept like 2 children as they told the sad story of the boys' deaths. Oh, this way, said Dighton, the gentle children lay. This way, said Forrest, with their innocent white arms wrapped around each other. Their lips were like 4 red roses on one stem, and in their summer beauty they kissed each other. A prayer book lay on their pillow, and that, said Forrest, almost changed my mind. But oh, the devil, there the villains stopped, and then Dighton continued, we smothered the sweetest, fullest work of nature that she has made since the beginning of creation. After that, both men went away full of conscience and remorse. They could not speak, so I left them both and came to bring these tidings to the bloody king. King Richard enters. And here he comes. Good health to you, my sovereign lord. Kind Tyrrel, may I be happy in your news? If having done the thing you ordered me to do can make you happy, then be happy, for it is done. But did you see them dead? I did, my lord. And buried gentle Tyrrel? The chaplain of the tower has buried them, but where, to tell the truth, I do not know. Come to me soon after supper, Tyrrel, and then you shall tell me exactly how they died. In the meantime, think how I may reward you, and consider your wish already yours. Farewell until then. I humbly take my leave. Tyrrel exits. I have locked up the son of Clarence closely. I have married off his daughter to a lowly match. The sons of Edward sleep in Abraham's bosom, and Anne, my wife, has said good night to the world. Now, because I know that the bread in Richmond is aiming for young Elizabeth, my brother's daughter, and through that marriage bond proudly looks toward the crown, I will go to her as a cheerful, successful wooer. Ratcliffe enters. My lord! Is it good news or bad that you come in so abruptly? Bad news, my lord. Wharton has fled to Richmond, and Buckingham, backed by the hardy Welshman, is in the field, and his force is still growing. Ely joining Richmond troubles me more closely than Buckingham and his hastily raised strength. Come, I have learned that fearful thinking is a heavy servant to dull delay. Delay leads to powerless snail, haste poverty. So let fiery speed be my wing, Jove's Mercury, and the herald fit for a king. O musterman! My judgment is my shield. We must act quickly when traitors dare us in the field. They exit. Old Queen Margaret enters. So now prosperity begins to ripen and fall into the rotten mouth of death. I have been hiding here at the edges of the court, secretly watching my enemies decline. I have witnessed a dreadful beginning, and I will go to France hoping the outcome will prove just as bitter, black, and tragic. Withdraw, wretched Margaret. Who is coming? She steps aside. The Duchess of York and Queen Elizabeth enter. Ah, my poor princes! Ah, my tender children, my unopened flowers, my new sweet blossoms! If your gentle souls still fly in the air, and are not fixed for ever in judgment, hover over me with your airy wings and hear your mother's lament. Hover over her, and say that justice for justice has dimmed your infant morning into aged night. So many miseries have shattered my voice that my grief-worn tongue is still and mute. Edward Plantagenet, why are you dead? Plantagenet repays Plantagenet. Edward pays a death debt for Edward. Will you, O God, turn away from such gentle lambs and throw them into the belly of the wolf? When did you sleep when such a deed was done? When holy Harry died and my sweet son. Dead life, blind sight, poor mortal living ghost, scene of sorrow, shame of the world, ode to the grave, though life has wrongfully held you back, brief summary and record of weary days, rest your unrest on England's lawful earth, made unlawfully drunk with innocent blood. The Duchess sits. Ah, if only you would give me a grave as readily as you give me a sad seat, then I would hide my bones instead of merely resting them here. Ah, who has any cause to mourn except us? Queen Elizabeth sits. Queen Margaret comes forward. If ancient sorrow deserves the most reverence, then give mine the rank of seniority, and let my griefs take the highest place. If sorrow can admit company, then tell over your woes again by looking at mine. I had an Edward until a Richard killed him. I had a husband until a Richard killed him. You had an Edward until a Richard killed him. You had a Richard until a Richard killed him. Queen Margaret sits with them. I had a Richard too, and you killed him. I had a Rutland too, and you helped kill him. You had a Clarence too, and Richard killed him. From the kennel of your womb has crept to hell, hound that hunts us all to death, that dog, whose teeth came before his eyes, made to tear lambs and lap their gentle blood, that supreme great tyrant of the earth, who reigns over the wounded eyes of weeping souls, that foul defacer of God's handiwork, whom your womb let loose to chase us to our graves. O upright, just, and true, ordering God, how I thank you that this fleshly cur preys on his own mother's children, and makes her sit beside the rest of us in mourning. O Harry's wife, do not triumph in my griefs. God is my witness, I have wept for yours. Bear with me. I am hungry for revenge, and now I stuff myself by watching it. Your Edward is dead, the one who killed my Edward. The other Edward is dead, to repay my Edward. Young York is only extra payment, because both of them together did not match the high perfection of my loss. Your Clarence is dead, the one who stabbed my Edward. And the spectators of this frantic play, the false Hastings, Rivers, Vaughan, Grey, lie too soon smothered in their dark graves. Richard still lives, hell's black messenger, kept only as its agent to buy souls and send them there. But close at hand, comes his pitiable and unpitied end. Earth gapes, hell burns, fiends roar, saints pray to have him suddenly carried from here. Cancel his bond of life, dear God, I pray, so that I may live to say, the dog is dead. Oh, you prophesied that the time would come when I would wish for you to help me curse that bottled spider, that foul hunchback toad. I called you then the empty flourish of my fortune. I called you then a poor shadow, a painted queen, the mere image of what I had been, the flattering title page of a dreadful spectacle, someone lifted high only to be hurled down low, a mother mocked with two fair children, a dream of what you were, a bright flag set up as the target for every dangerous shot, a sign of dignity, a breath, a bubble, a queen in jest, only to fill the scene. Where is your husband now? Where are your brothers? Where are your 2 sons? What joy do you have? Who begs, kneels, and says, God save the Queen? Where are the bowing peers who flattered you? Where are the crowded troops that followed you? Subtract all this and see what you are now. Instead of a happy wife, a most distressed widow. Instead of a joyful mother, one who wails that name. Instead of one people begged from, one who humbly begs. Instead of queen, a poor wretch crowned with care. Instead of she who scorned me, now scorned by me. Instead of she feared by all, now fearing one. Instead of she commanding all, obeyed by none. So the wheel of justice has turned and left you only prey to time, with nothing but the memory of what you were to torture you more, being what you are. You usurped my place, and now do you not usurp the rightful measure of my sorrow? Now your proud neck bears half my heavy yoke. From it, even here, I slip my weary head, and leave the whole burden on you. Farewell, York's wife and queen of sad mischance. These English woes will make me smile in France. Oh, you who are so skilled in curses, stay a while and teach me how to curse my enemies. Refuse to sleep at night, and fast through the days. Compare dead happiness with living sorrow. Think that your children were sweeter than they were, and that the man who killed them is fouler than he is. Making your loss seem greater makes its wicked cause seem worse. Turning this over and over will teach you how to curse. My words are dull. Oh, sharpen them with yours. Your griefs will make them sharp, and let them pierce like mine. Queen Margaret exits. Why should calamity be so full of words? Words are windy lawyers for their clients' griefs, airy heirs to joys that died without a will, poor breathing orators of miseries. Let them have room. Even if what they say helps nothing else, they ease the heart. If that is so, then do not be tongue-tied. Come with me, and with the breath of bitter words let us smother my damned son, who smothered your two sweet sons. A trumpet sounds. The trumpet sounds. Be plentiful in outcries. King Richard enters with his train, including Caseby, marching. Who blocks me on my expedition? One who might have blocked you from all the murders you have done, wretch, by strangling you in her cursed womb. You hide that forehead with a golden crown, where, if justice were justice, there should be branded the murder of the prince who owned that crown, and the dreadful deaths of my poor sons and brothers. Tell me, you villain slave, where are my children? You toad, where is your brother Clarence and little Ned Plantagenet, his son? Where is gentle Rivers Vaughan Grey? Where is kind Hastings? Sound a flourish, trumpets! Beat the alarm drums. Do not let heaven hear these tale. Varying women rail against the Lord's anointed. Strike, I say. Trumpets flourish and drums sound alarms. Either be patient and ask me civilly, or with the loud report of war I will drown out your cries like this. Are you my son? Yes, I thank God, my father, and yourself. Then patiently hear my impatience. Madam, I have something of your nature, and cannot endure the sound of criticism. Oh, let me speak. Then speak, but I will not listen. I will be mild and gentle in my words. And brief, good mother, for I am in a hurry. Are you so hurried? God knows I have waited for you in torment and agony. And did I not come at last to comfort you? No, by the Holy Rood, you know well that you came unto the earth to make the earth my hell. Your birth was a grievous burden to me. Your infancy was touchy and wayward. Your school days were frightening, desperate, wild, and furious. Your manhood's prime was daring, bold, and reckless. Your settled age is proud, subtle, sly, and bloody, outwardly milder, but even more harmful, kind only in hatred. What comforting hour can you name that was ever graced by your company?
And there we pause again, on the deepest of Richard's crimes. The little princes lie murdered in the tower, smothered in each other's arms, and his queen is conveniently dead, and the throne he killed so many to win is already shaking under him. Across the sea, Henry, Earl of Richmond, is gathering an army and acclaim, and the curses of the wailing queens are hardening into prophecy. Next time, in Part 4, a second monstrous wooing, the storm of rebellion, the ghosts at Bosworth, and a horse. Mind the footnotes, and beware the folly.